Yo. Today's podcast is Bogy Levesque. And have you ever heard of a keyboard community that sells keyboards for hundreds of dollars on Reddit platforms? Well, if you haven't, you're about to find out what the heck the keyboard community is and why they're worth hundreds of dollars and hundreds of dollars for just one simple key, like an H or a J or W key. So let's use the podcast and you'll find out about keyboards and more. Here's Bogy Levesque. Thank you so much. Let's go. Subscribe to my channel. Now let's go. What's up, man? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, what's up?
Chillin', dude. How are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
Nice. Ew, good to see you. It's been like years.
I know.
Where are you at right now?
I'm in Arcata.
You're in Arcata?
Yeah, I can look out my window and see Arcata High, actually.
Oh, what? Wild.
I
Dude,
know.
that place has seen some renovations, that huge building now.
Oh, yeah, and like the field and everything.
Dude, yeah, they're going to have a track and field.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah, that's super sick. It looks like, do you have computers behind you? You have a little studio?
Yeah. Well,
dude, that setup is dope. Yeah, 2 monitors.
Yeah.
Is that Premiere or Final Cut?
That's Blender, actually.
Blender. Oh, that's
yeah. It's like a 3D modeling.
3D modeling. So that's what you're doing now?
Some bit, yeah, a little bit here and there. I actually I spent at the start of the pandemic. I'm like, okay, I need to do something. Like, need to put my mind power into something. So I'm like, there's this 3D program that I've always wanted to learn. It's not really like any film studios or game studios really use it, but
yeah,
it kind of does everything. It's like not the best at one thing in particular, but it's like pretty useful for like anything you want to do, like fluid simulation to sculpting to basically whatever you want to do.
So 3D printing, in my plastic endeavors, a few people have asked me if it's possible to 3D print with recycled plastic. Do you know of any about that? Anything?
I don't. My guess is that it's possible, but you probably need to figure out what sort of plastic is like the best as far as consistency. I had one of my questions I was going to ask you was like, where do you get your plastics? Where do you where does all that come from and how do you manufacture that?
Yeah, so we had a manufacturing in Redway, a manufacturer who he used recycled plastic in his plastic injection molding machines. And he got the plastic from Redway Recycling Center primarily, and then also some places in LA that sanitize and recycle plastic in bigger quantities. He was making these like weird inserts for SpaceX for a couple years. They were buying like 40,000 at a time. Basically these like little like clips that attach to like these big rollers. I know it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, sometimes I'd go down there and check out his shop and he'd be making like thousands of these little inserts. And he's like, oh, these are going to Elon Musk. That's pretty funny.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, but the plastic comes from either companies that shred and sanitize the plastic from post-consumer number 2 or number 5.
Okay.
Or the recycling centers. If you get at the recycling centers, you have to sanitize it and shred it yourself, though.
For sure.
Because like milk bottles, shampoo bottles, so it takes a lot of water and a lot of cleaning to really sanitize that. But it's still energy efficient compared to making new plastic.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just like, since working for like bigger companies and sort of not really with like packaging and shipping, but sort of tangentially. You just kind of see how much commercial plastic is used. Like we all, I think, recycle to some degree or another, but like big companies do not. And it's, it's like they could be doing something there, like I know they could be doing something there. So I don't know.
No, 100%. You're on it. I just recently did a podcast with my cousin who works for Tesla, and he was showing me inside the Tesla manufacturing facility outside Reno. And he was telling me some of the waste that goes on in there. Which is just like millions of dollars, I mean, they're making billions, but there also is a lot of waste with big production, like you said. And that was something that I noticed. There's just constant waste. And even on the streets, there's like plastic pieces on the ground. And like started scratching my head, like, something has to change. And then once I researched and found out that it's not that hard to turn like a Coca-Cola bottle into another Coca-Cola bottle. Just clean it, shred it, and make it into another bottle. It's like so easy.
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I think, was it Coca-Cola and Nestle were the top of the list as far as wasteful plastics this year or something?
Yeah, I believe
Like,
it.
I don't know. I just, it seems like they're kind of, it makes like monetary sense too. Like, reusing your plastics, not just good for the earth, but good for the, making money. But
Yeah, it's a long-term investment getting some machinery and stuff to do it, but if these companies know they're going to be around for tens of years, then they should be investing in renewable sources. And like these closed loop systems are coming into play where facilities are using every one of their scraps to make new products and stuff. Because when you were making plastic products, there's a lot of sometimes the product comes out like a laundry basket, and at the end of the laundry basket, there's like this little like nub of plastic, and sometimes someone in the facility has to like grab the laundry basket and clip off that nub so it doesn't like poke anybody. And then you're left with like thousands of these little nubs at the end of the day. What they do, they just throw them back in the machine and then making new laundry baskets. So some is recycling is happening, but on a much larger scale, it needs to be happening.
For sure. So yeah, and then one more question, like, so do you have like a press? Do you like, how do you make the actual tiles?
Yeah, wait, let me show you my tiles really quick.
Oh yeah, sweet.
So this is the little tile prototype that we made.
Sweet.
Out of sand and grout. So this was like our phase one. So there's like see a little bit of the holes in them, kind of like a little indents.
Oh yeah.
Well, those indents are there because on the back of the tile there's these little like kind of nubs to really catch the grout. So we were learning all sorts of different techniques on how to like get flat surfaces and stuff. But
for sure.
Yeah, basically like learning. Like so much trial and error. And how the process is that we had to buy like a mold, like a brick of aluminum that's like this big, and then you slice it in half, and then in the middle of both those pieces you like cut a little void, like just enough that's the size of a tile, and then you drill a hole through it, and then you put this thing in a machine, or that mold in machine. Basically heat and rotation is pushing the plastic through this mold, and then the plastic goes through in this mold, right? This brick of aluminum, and inside there it's like super hot at inside of mold 400 degrees, and then it presses it and squeezes it, and then every 20 seconds cold water is like rotated through the mold and cools it down, and then the mold opens and shoots out your tile.
How long is like to make one tile in the machine?
20 every 20 seconds
20
tile pops out.
Sweet.
And then we had a little nub on the tile, so every 20 seconds it would follow the machine, we'd grab it, cut off the nub, and then put the tile in the box.
Sweet.
Yeah, so it's cool. Really fast, honestly. Like 20 seconds is like the person that's cutting the nubs is like constantly just kind of like going.
Oh yeah, I bet. Damn, so yeah, you can pump out, I guess, theoretically thousands in a day, right?
Yeah, over 1,000 a day, because as an 8-hour work day, you can do 3 a minute and 180 an hour. I think it was like somewhere over like 1,000 a day.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, but those facilities in China where they have like literally hundreds of machines in one factory, and they're all pumping out at like 15 or 10 seconds, like huge laundry baskets. It's like crazy to see these huge machines do it. But also even the little products like, just like pens and like glass like frames. That's how everything plastic is made. A lot of it is through injection, where these machines that hold like a metal mold inside is the void. There's a little pen shaped carved out inside the mold, and when it opens, the pen just like falls.
Oh yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy.
So it's not really like a press, but learning all that, what I just told you, took me like months, and research and talking to manufacturers.
Totally.
Are you thinking about manufacturing anything?
Huh?
Are you thinking about manufacturing or making any products?
Not in the sort of like CNC mold way, really, but more like I'm thinking about getting more into woodworking. Just as something to do. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm at the spot right now where I'm really trying to figure out what the next step is. And it's probably some sort of skill trade. Like, so just to back up a little bit, like I went to film school, uh, really loved it. Like it was just the perfect thing. Like I knew that was what I wanted to do. And then after I graduated, like always figured, oh, okay, I'll go to LA, figure out what it's like in LA, working on these big productions and everything. And I found out not only is LA kind of shitty, like no offense to people from or who live in LA, but also just the whole film industry there is a bit backwards and like not the best. So I kind of figured out like just from just how the industry works there that this isn't really it. Like I also realized like I love film, but seeing all the people that like literally do that 200, 300 days out of the year, 12-hour days, like for not great pay at all. Like I don't love film that much, you know?
Yeah.
But then, yeah, then I went, moved to the Bay from LA and figured out, I think I just kind of randomly ended up in photography. And there's like a lot of like photography studios there. And what we do is I worked as a set builder. So basically, all the walls and everything that you see that are like, imagine like your IKEA shot, like all those walls are fake. And we actually like put these what are called flats. They're like a 4x8. You just zip them together and make, you know, corners, whatever, little hutches, like all this sort of detailing and stuff we build. And then the crazy thing is that you don't actually have to like clean it up because it's easier for someone at the end to like retouch the photo, like Photoshop it, than it is for us to like make all the seams perfect and everything. So yeah, so it was kind of a trip, but I also realized like, man, working on photography sets compared to film sets, like just knocks out a lot of the crappy part of it. Like, like the chaos of being on a set with like 60 to 100 people
Oh my God.
is, yeah, it's
It's
like, it's
nuts.
just the stress. You just like feel it in the air.
Yeah.
So yeah, working on photography sets, like way, way better in a lot of different ways. So, but yeah, so, that's kind of where I'm at the moment.
Are you
And
working with any local photographers too, or do you have like a little network of people you're talking with, or just
uh,
brainstorming ideas, or is it kind of just you
that's
freelancing?
that's a good question. Like, I actually like just had my last week. Like, I came up to Humboldt and then still had 2 more weeks of work in the Bay. So I like went back down for the last couple weeks. So I'm like trying to figure out what I'm going to do in that sphere. I did work at this company called Resolution Care in Eureka after I graduated, and they're like a hospice clinic. So, and they do palliative care and everything. And they had me like making videos about their patients and stuff. So I need to see if I could work there some more. I don't know what's going to go on with the pandemic and everything. So we'll see.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like there's a lot of room for photography up here, and just, I mean, like everything, it's how you market it. But I think you're right that, these homes, these maybe, are you talking about a senior home?
Yeah. Or they're more like they actually provide care for like a lot of people, a lot of rural patients that live in Humboldt County. So they'll actually send nurses out to check in on them and uh, yeah, that sort of thing. They provide that kind of healthcare. And then the creator of the company, he's been like the premier HIV doctor in Humboldt County for like 30 years or something. His name's Michael Fracken. He wanted to start his own business, right? That was more about like complete healthcare, because the problem is if you're dying and you have 2-3 years left to live, they'll take really good care of you if they know you're going to live, but the healthcare if you're going to die is like very one-dimensional. There's like 5 drugs they'll prescribe you and that's about it. So like he wanted to, yeah, it's really kind of rough actually. So he wanted to like fill out that space a little more and provide better healing for people. So we hired like a spiritual counselor for people. And this was right when he started the company, and I was living up here. And my cousin does medical billing and was working for them. He's like, "Does anybody know like a videographer?" And my cousin's like, "Oh, I do." So, so I kind of that's how I started there. Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, so I'll definitely be checking in with them, but I can't imagine I can go out and film people right now. So
I know it's such a weird time, and we just entered the purple tier, purple zone again, I
yeah.
guess. So we're still having to be even more socially distanced than before. If I was, to be asked last March how long the pandemic was gonna go, I remember saying like, oh, summertime
Mm,
2020, it'll be open. And there was this
right.
like period of like July or August where there was like this whiff of like normality coming
Mm,
back where like people were like kind of going back out. I remember going to the river and just being like outdoors with other people here, like sometimes maskless, like at the river and stuff. But then it's like September, October, holidays, November, December. It just has been getting slowly worse, I think.
yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're even that close to the end, like
Ah,
I hate to say it, but I mean, maybe middle of this year, but who knows? I mean, we don't really know how the vaccine is going to be rolled out at this point yet, but
mhm,
obviously hoping for sooner rather than later. So I do think it's
definitely.
really interesting, like trying to think about how all of this is going to change things moving forward,
Hmm.
because like I think I'm hoping people will have better hygiene and like be safer around other people. Like I don't know. I was thinking about like I rode the BART all the time in the Bay, and it's just everybody just crowded in on you, and it just sounds like, ew.
Yeah, I would not want to be in that type of place right now.
Yeah.
And all like the handrails and the cities are just
Mm.
so jam packed with people. I mean, we're up in Humboldt, so we know what it's like to have like space walking around. Even in stores, there's space.
Oh
But
yeah.
for folks in the larger cities, the concrete jungles, that
Mm.
must be a trip. In New York City, San Francisco, LA.
Oh yeah. I mean, LA is getting hit real bad right now too, which is
Hmm.
unfortunate.
Yeah, and RIP, dude, one of our esteemed freaking Mexican legends, the Mexican restaurant legends up here, Esteban's. I'm sure
Oh,
you
that's
heard.
true.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
super sad news. He was somebody that provided us burritos and taco truck food since we were like, elementary, high school age.
Oh yeah. The $5 super burrito there, man. That
I'll
was
never
like
forget it.
unbeatable at lunch.
Dude, $5, no
Right?
no
And
tax
it
or
was like,
anything, just five.
yeah.
And they're huge, like
Yeah.
you said, huge.
Oh, totally.
The tortillas, bro, so
Oh
good.
man. I was gonna ask you, like, how has COVID kind of affected your business? Like,
Yeah, it's definitely affected it in terms of, well, at the beginning of COVID, our manufacturer sold all of his machines. He said
oh, really?
that he was done. Yeah, I mean, he was
Mm,
near the end of his life cycle in terms of like the business. He's been in manufacturing plastic since he was 10 years old. His dad
mm,
actually owned the first plastic injection molding factory in LA or in the West Coast. And
really?
this was back in like 19 like 50 or 60.
Damn.
So he grew up in like an engineering family making and designing these like products from recycled plastic. So
Mm,
his knowledge was just like beyond like anything that I've ever seen in that type of like engineering and like manufacturing field.
mm,
So just hearing him talk, it was funny because he's like this like mountain dude from Sohum, in Redway, just like you look at him and you don't maybe think that he has this lifetime of not manufacturing knowledge, but he was brilliant. Looking at his blueprints, I mean, he'd just draw like blueprints with a pencil. Every line would be straight. It's
oh
just
yeah.
like incredible drawings.
Damn.
So it was pretty sad to see him sell all his machines, and that
Mm,
kind of ended our steps of like making tiles. We started making dube tubes for joints for
mhm.
cannabis dispensing because we wanted to enter the cannabis industry because we thought it was more money making than selling tiles. I mean, we put some tiles in a salon in McKinleyville
Mm,
above one of their sinks for like
okay.
backsplash and stuff because you can
Yeah.
install the tiles just like with mortar and grout, like
Hmm.
regular tiles. But the joint tubes were going to be like a much more profitable situation. And then like right when we were finalizing the tubes and everything was looking good, like we could squeeze them and they would pop open. but not like so much that a child could do it, because you had to find that, right way where like an older person, someone 21 to like 65, 70 could open the tube by squeezing it, but not like a 5-year-old. So we got it just right, and it was perfect. And then, oh, sorry, I'm getting a call. Just decline that. And then he sold his machines and everything. So that was kind of a bummer. And then after that, we were like, okay, we got to pivot. And me and my business partner were in this like zone of like, talking about visions and futures. And then we kind of just disseminated the company, went our separate ways. And then I wanted to continue the plastic recycling venture. So I started a new company called Lost Coast Plastics. So now we're working on, again, reducing plastic waste, but also hitting angles like products that don't have plastic at all. Our website right now has a couple products that will be coming soon, like shampoo bars, conditioner bars, because those are, I don't know if you know about those, but they're shampoo bars, like a hand soap bar, but it's shampoo. So you just rub it in your hair, and if you don't have a bottle of shampoo that you
So
use for
sustainable.
3 weeks.
I've heard like lots of people are moving towards that. There's there's some company that's it's a Chinese company, and they have the special water or something that makes like the perfect shampoo.
Whoa.
Yeah, these shampoo bar, and the fucking packaging is like amazing.
Oh, that's nice. I need to get
I'll
on.
let you
I
know what
need
it
to
is.
see
I
it.
can't remember what it is off the top of my head.
Yeah, if you ever remember, let me know, because I'm trying to find like eco-friendly bars, because some of the bars, have certain sulfates in there that might not be the most groovy for our skin. So also not just the plastic, but also the ingredients. How sustainable are those ingredients? That's just as important.
Oh yeah, of course.
But you mentioned woodworking earlier. I recently just built a table with my girlfriend, and it was so fun. I remember wood shop in high school, making a table and little cabinets and stuff. Did you do wood shop in high school?
I didn't, but I guess I just I think I started roofing when I was like 15 or 16. So that
Wow,
was
that's
like my
intense.
first experience with my stepdad, and then kind of just did it a little bit here and there. And then probably, the most amount of like carpentry I've been doing is on set. So it's like a whole different type. We do a lot more like smaller surfaces because it's for like a really close in shot sometimes. So you'll just like, we'll tile like a 4x4 thing, and that's it.
Like a 4 feet by 4 feet?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So it's just for like one little shot.
That's probably so fun, building like a little set. You're like taking a picture of like a corner of like a desk or something, or a room.
It gets a little annoying though, because we'll get these call outs for like, okay, we need like a 2 foot, because our flats are either like a 4 foot. Sometimes you have to build a custom one, but they're like, we had like a 2 foot, 4 foot, then a door, then a 4 foot. And we built the whole thing. And then they're like, actually we just need a corner. So they're just like,
so like, you build the whole thing. That's brutal.
Yeah, but that happens a lot. I mean, you're just like, you just gotta roll with the punches, because our like, your art director or whatever will be like, oh no, actually let's like completely change this whole shot. So, but that's how it goes.
Dude, yo-yoing. You are like the best yo-yoer I've ever seen.
Yeah. I mean, that, I still have all my yo-yos. I'm kind of one of those people that like, I'll just bounce around to different hobbies and just get super in it and super obsessive about it. And then just like, okay, I'll do the next thing. But yeah, the one thing I really wanted to show you is keyboards, which is like my new thing.
Oh, yes. Talk to me about these keyboards.
Okay, well, let me show you one of them.
Yeah, please.
I don't know if you can really see this, but it lights up.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's underglow right here. So I'll just do a closer look here. So this is like,
oh, whoa.
Yeah, so this is like a 96% layout. So it's got basically all the keys you need.
Wow, that's so cool.
But it's all condensed. Like it's about 16 inches.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, so that's...
So how does that... So this is my like keyboard right here. That looks like yours has more buttons than this one. Yeah,
this definitely does. This has like the full keypad over here.
Oh, uh-huh.
What you got there is about like a 65. That's like a 75% layout.
Uh-huh.
So those are like, I'm working on building one sort of like that. but I'll show you. You're gonna be blown away. This is like,
whoa,
Mysterium.
Mysterium.
But it's literally, you're gonna be like, what? That's a keyboard? Oh shit. I guess I have an extra one of these. But it's literally just like, sorry. This is like your base plate, right?
Whoa,
Like
what in the world? Yeah, that's like underneath everything?
Yeah, and then this goes over the top of it.
What?
Yeah, and it like stacks like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard to conceptualize, but
and then on top of that, there you put keys?
Yeah.
So recently I saw like people make the keys.
Really?
Like we're like I saw recently where they were doing like animations like Kirby and Pokemon, like little figurines almost.
Yeah, so those are like, they're called artisans. I actually, I just bought, so the weird thing about this market is a ton of it is what's called group buys, right? So you'll like, they'll put out an order and they're like, we need, 200 people to buy one of these, and then it'll go into manufacturing. And so you can pay, for a full key set, it's like 130, 140 bucks. But the thing is, and then it basically, they make exactly that many. The orders go to a company in Germany called GMK. They have the special molds that make these exact keycaps. And then it takes usually 4 to 5 months for them to get shipped back to you. But the problem is, because of COVID, everything is like way backed up. So you have to wait even longer. But the thing is like, these keycaps you buy for 140 bucks on the aftermarket sites, you can sell them for 300-400 bucks. So it's like an amazing return on investment. Like a ton of scalpers have come into this industry because it's just like easy money if you can like put the money in ahead of time. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. I actually I wasn't trying to scalp or anything, but I got one of those for 60 bucks, and like I liked it. It was all right, but I was just checking the sites, and someone's like, "Oh, I'm looking for this exact one." It's like literally just one keycap.
Just one key, like a U or I or
literally
something.
Just one key. And I'm like, "Hey, what were you looking to pay for that?" And he's like, "Oh, like 200 bucks." I'm like, okay.
Did you sell it to him?
Yeah, I sold it to him. So
that was just one.
For literally just one keycap. Yeah.
So where did this hype come from? Was there an influencer that did this, or a company?
I mean, it's kind of like, it ties in with PCs a lot, because like I always had Macs for like my entire life pretty much. And then I'm like, you know what, I need to, because I video edit and 3D model and stuff, and trying to sort of like build up my asset catalog, because people pay good money for 3D objects and stuff. I just decided, okay, I'm just gonna buy a PC like with a good graphics card and everything. And then as soon as I got into that world, I realized like, when you own a Mac, it's like you have one option for a mouse, you have one option for a keyboard. But once you get in the PC world, it's like 50 different companies making like 2 to 3 versions of the same thing. It's like almost overload. But yeah, so I sort of like, I remember seeing this on Reddit. I don't know if you use Reddit at all. I'm like,
very, very little. Some of my friends are on it, and I like definitely like scope when they like send me links to all the good stuff.
Oh yeah, like people end up on Reddit, but it's not like a place that a lot of people go to, I guess, for their information or whatever. It's kind of social media, but not really. But a lot of the communities that are on there are sort of, they're very specific. So there's a that's like, also for certain hobbies, that's like the main place that people meet up for these things. So there's a page, reddit.com/r/mechanical keyboards, and you can see all these ones that people have built, and all of the markets kind of tie into that place. So I kind of found that again. I think I'd randomly seen things over the years, but didn't have a reason to get invested in it. And then just kind of started putting stuff together. The problem with the hobby really is that, one, you either like, people don't really they're not really interested in it as much. Like, oh, you just type on a keyboard, you know?
Mhm.
But the other problem is it's like the amount of patience that's required is just insane. Because like that board I was showing you, which is like the same keyboard you have, and then I have a separate like number pad that's going to
Mm.
be that matches that one. I've been trying to put all the components for this thing together for like 3 or 4 months now,
Uh-huh.
and just like I'm like 90-95% of the way, but I realize like the insulation foams that I have are black and not white, so I'm mailing them back to the guy who does the insulation foams to get white
Mm,
ones, and then I can build the whole thing. So
I see.
it's a good practice of patience, you know. But
Definitely. I mean, maybe after you do a few though, that the process will maybe speed up. And if you can get
well,
like 100, 200% return, that's amazing.
yeah, I mean this board that's that I'm putting together, that I've probably put a couple $100 into it now. When
Hmm.
it's all said and done, I could probably sell the thing for $400 or $500. But I also, just the amount of time and effort I put into this, I'm like, I'm at least gonna use it for a while. So
At least use it. Yeah.
yeah, but I'm worried like how many keyboards do you really need? I think like two is probably good, you know, but who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, you might want one for the flashy, super colorful. Are you getting into like flashy, or you already have the blue lights under there? I know some
Yeah.
I've seen with like huge pink lights or rainbow lights, different
Hmm.
colored lights.
Yeah, I mean now when you can actually like program a bunch of different ways to give, like you can do like a wave and stuff with colors, or like
Yeah.
sunsetty, or like
Hmm.
that kind of thing. So, but it's also one of those things that like it's an abyss, because you can like learn to program the lights and everything. People like hand wire those now instead of soldering the whole board.
Oh my
Like
God.
literally, can you imagine like wiring the whole thing? Like
With tweezers, just
yeah. So like I think that's a little excessive. Also, people like use CAD and design their own keyboards and then send them off to a machinist to manufacture the PCB and all the components there. And
mm-hmm.
there's people that make really good money on this, and there's streamers that stream building of keyboards and stuff. So it's kind of, it's a small sort of community, but there's a ton of money in it because so many people like it's just inherently expensive stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's very interesting to me, but I don't know how interesting it is to other people.
Well, I don't know. It's pretty fascinating, and it's came on my news or my feed on Instagram, just
Oh yeah.
keyboards. And recently, I mean, I don't know how I saw like a person who had their whole home studio decked out in Kirby gear, and it was all pink neon, and then their keyboard was all different like Kirby characters and
Mm,
different like Kirby warrior hats and holding swords, and then every time you pushed on the key, it like made a certain Kirby noise, like
really.
hiya, hiya, and then like different like they're like pressing on different keys. So I don't know if you've seen keyboards with like noise or audio features
I
where you can
haven't
like
really, but I bet that's sort of like
that
there's
might be
probably
from the
programs.
computer program.
Yeah, that would be my guess, is you can probably write a program that would do that, because there's tons you can pull your there's keystroke readers, which I use when I'm putting my, because you pop the little switches in. That's the
Mm,
mechanical part of mechanical keyboard, is the actual actuation of the keycap
mm-hmm.
is the mechanical part, and then it goes into the circuit. But I use those to make sure all my keycaps are in, or all my switches are in properly. So
Mm.
just, you could probably write a program to read your key presses and output a noise or something. So,
I see. Okay.
mm.
Why do I remember there being a time like a few years ago when it must have been a teaser or it was just maybe real, but I feel like it was like a hologram shooting a keyboard onto a desk, and then
Yeah,
and then you just like type on a flat surface and then somehow it registers.
I have no clue how that works. But yeah, I saw that like a while back, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
that's just sorcery right there.
Yeah, like what? How does it read? I don't know. It seemed confusing.
Yeah, I guess there must be some sort of sensors in it that, like, you know how you ever mess around with Arduinos? You know Arduinos?
No.
They're like little microprocessors that you can like program. It's a really good way to get into like mechanical programming and stuff. And basically you could rig it up to your door, so whenever your door opens, it sends a signal, and you can use that signal to trigger other stuff.
Hmm.
Um, so there's probably something going on there where it sees you breaking the laser line
Yeah, huh.
from
From
the
whatever the hologram. Yeah, and then
yeah,
it's like
exactly.
the L key is not covered any, or it's not open anymore. So
Yeah, but it seems like
something.
your hand would be blocking it. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I don't know. It's so confusing. I remember that coming out on somewhere, and I was like,
Mm.
that seems like a futuristic thing.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
keyboards, I mean, is this something that you think you're going to run with, like for the next little bit? I mean, I know
yeah,
you're in that transition COVID period. Where do you see the next few months going?
for me, I mean, I'm trying to figure out. I'm really considering becoming an electrician. Actually, I think
Mm.
like from what I've heard, like the apprenticeship is long. Um, but it's a really good business to be in. Like the thing I've always heard from various construction jobs and from, the people I come in contact with lately have been carpenters and people like that. So they always say, the two people you always want to call and don't try and do this job yourself is electricians and plumbers. So
Mm-hmm.
figure electricians probably a pretty good business to be in. And I kind of think that because of the keyboard thing, which is like somewhat electrical,
Mm-hmm.
uh, I don't know. It seems like it would jam with my interests and stuff. So that's what I'm considering. But who knows?
Nice. Yeah, I'm very afraid of electricity, and I've
Yeah,
done a
that's
year of like
understandable.
construction technology at CR. So we built the Jefferson Community Center in Eureka during
Oh,
that
really?
year, which was super cool. And so that basically the construction people come in and frame the building, and then
Mm.
after we frame it, the electrical class at CR then comes in and wires the whole
The whole building?
place, and then we come in there and then finish up with putting in the windows and
Mm.
a lot of the interior stuff. But
I know.
yeah, the CR instructors are leading the class to build the building and wire it. So I didn't get to, I didn't take the electrical classes, which I wish I would have looking back, because just knowing how to like add an outlet to your house, or like those three
Mm.
wires that are running through our inner side of our sheetrock, there's like the ground, a hot, and something else.
Oh yeah.
And I just don't know. And turned, I was like helping my mom with her hot tub,
Mm.
and there's like a hot tub breaker box,
Yeah.
right? So I turned off the hot tub breaker box. I'm like, all right, this breaker box is off. I've turned it off. So
Mm.
there I am with the screwdriver in the breaker, unplugging or unscrewing the red and the black, but I
Mm.
did not turn off the main
Oh no.
breaker box to the hot tub. So even although I turned off the hot tub breaker, the main was still feeding. And luckily I was wearing rubber gloves, because it blew up in my hands once I put the screwdriver in there. And like the screwdriver flew out of my hands. There was like this huge pop and noise, and it freaked me out. I had to go like sit down and breathe for a second, because I was like, dude, I almost just freaking died. It's like
Jeez, that's
220,
scary.
not 110. So
Mm. Whew.
uh, yeah, but
How's it
after that
going?
experience, I'm like, dude, I need to learn something about electrical stuff. But
Yeah,
it's kind of hard to learn when you don't have like a mentor around you.
totally.
Do
I
you have
mean,
any
that's
electric mentors?
I actually have a buddy who lives in Santa Cruz, and he's like giving me some advice about all this stuff. He worked he worked as a solar installer for a while, and then he just went straight whatever the union is down in Santa Cruz County.
Hmm.
Um, so that seems like a whole different sphere that would be good to know. Like I really, I just think I'm definitely gonna uh, have solar panels eventually. Like it's just like a no-brainer. It's getting cheaper and cheaper. It seems like everything's headed that way. I think it
Hmm.
just became like the most efficient source of energy, right? I feel like I remember seeing that it just surpassed whatever was before, but
Oh, I hope so. I didn't see that research, but I would believe it if that's true.
right.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I think it's I don't know what second now, but and then also the subsidies for it are great too. Like it's becoming like cheaper and cheaper to install in your house, and uh I imagine that electricity is only getting more and more expensive. So
Hmm.
I don't know. Seems
Yeah,
like
I
a
know some people that have solar panels that pay $0 on PG&E,
mhm.
or for the
Oh,
electric part.
I mean, if you have enough panels, like PG&E will pay you if you have it rigged up to their system. So
Yeah, yeah. So it's totally the way to go. I mean, it is a long-term investment. I think
Mm.
the person I'm thinking of is like 25,000 for their setup.
Oh, wow.
But now they, pay nothing. So,
Yeah.
it might be, 20 years or 15 or 10 years so they get that return back. But,
Yeah,
not having that bill every month is
that's
added
the
as
other
well.
thing I think is that the amount of time it takes for it to pay for itself is going down too. So
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had some actual numbers right now, but that's what I've read. So
Yeah, yeah, I hope so. That seems cool. I know somebody I see on one of my friends' friends on Instagram who's like installing solar panels in like LA and huge, huge facility and like huge solar panels. So
oh
I don't
yeah,
know what really it's powering. Hopefully, like a city or something. I think towns and cities should jump on that wagon if they could.
right. Yeah, I don't know why there isn't more like maybe there is, but commercial solar panel uh, what do you call it? Banks or
Yeah, part of me thinks that it's like it's got to be it's got to be lobbying
you think
interfering
so?
because like PG&E, these huge companies that are running electricity through cities, like they probably don't want solar coming in and taking over their
Mm,
income. I mean, I don't I'm just thinking of one of the biggest players in the world is electricity probably is a huge player to
mm,
all of our systems, and then
yeah.
solar coming in and might be like butting heads in the top
Oh yeah.
floor of the buildings, but
I
that's just
mean,
kind of my guess.
big oil can't be happy about it, you know.
No, oh, they're heated. uh,
Right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool. Let's see, we talked about keyboards,
Oh,
electricity.
I wanted to ask you about you're teaching now?
I'm teaching at CR. Yeah,
Yeah,
I love
that's
it.
great.
Yeah, so I got
Congrats.
my master's. Thank you. I got my master's in business
Mm.
administration at HSU in 2019. I graduated,
Oh,
and then
congrats,
it
man.
was like November. I got a call from the dean at CR.
Mm.
Luckily, it was somebody who I went to Arcata High with. It was their mom is the dean. So,
Awesome.
yeah, and I had ran into her, see her in the community. So
Hmm.
it was somebody that I knew, and she called me and was like, "Hey, I know you have a master's. You want to teach at CR?" And I was like, "What?" Like I was like, "Hold on one second," put it on mute, and I was like, "Let's go!" And then it's come back. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I would love to. That sounds awesome."
Mm.
But I was like super excited for the opportunity, and now
Wow.
right is the third semester, so I'm teaching three
Mm.
classes: business communications, intro to personal finance, and managing people and projects, and it's super
Oh,
fun.
that's great, man.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be continuing to run with that, and it's
Mm.
part-time. Like full-time teaching is technically 5 classes,
Okay.
so I'm teaching 3 classes, so
Mm.
it's like barely enough to get by. I still need to do some side jobs, and I
Mm.
sell on eBay, so I started selling super tough on eBay, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh,
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of memorabilia and old fat 90s like things,
Hmm.
because they go, dude. I have like so many old Yu-Gi-Oh cards and Pokemon cards, Magic cards that freaking are selling for hundreds of dollars in some of them.
Damn. That's
Also because I was a super nerd when I was younger and put all the cards into
cool.
sleeves and was like, didn't touch them, was like super
Mm.
careful.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
You
saw
have any
you
Pokemon
posted.
cards? What's up? Where's the Charizards?
Oh man, I had a Charizard
Yeah.
way back in the day.
Hmm.
Yeah, I saw you selling Nike SBs.
Ooh, yeah, you're an
Still with
SB
them,
guy
huh?
too. I remember
Yeah.
that.
Oh yeah.
So I got into this phase where I was buying off eBay and then selling on eBay too. So I was
Mm.
buying SBs for like 100 and
Oh
then
yeah.
selling them for 150. And
Nice.
it was honestly going really good at the beginning of quarantine.
Hmm.
I was flipping like 10, 20, 30 shoes like a month, and it
Damn.
was pretty good time. And then it just all of a sudden stopped and slowed down.
Oh yeah.
During like July, August, all of a sudden people weren't buying that many SBs.
No one was wearing shoes, man.
I know. I think everyone was using unemployment on their shoes or something
Yeah.
during that big unemployment drop. But
Oh yeah.
then,
True.
then all of a sudden, it was like, okay, I gotta, this buying for 100, selling for 150 wasn't the biggest ROI, especially when eBay takes their 10%.
Yeah.
But at least it got me a lot of reviews, and now I've sold over 100 items on eBay. I became like an eBay top seller, and I had
Damn.
over 100 reviews because I would hand write a note every eBay sale and be like, "Yo, thank you for purchase. Like, please write a review for me on eBay." and that helped me out a lot. Now people trust my like sales and stuff.
Totally. That's a nice touch.
Yeah,
That goes a long way, really.
it really does. What about you? You have any SBs right now you're loving?
Not really. I still bust them out sometimes. I have like what are they called? They're like gray with like wool. They're gray and black. I don't know. I think they're in a box right now, but those are like my favorite ones I'm rocking these days.
Oh, you're talking. Oh, the gray. Oh, you're talking about an NSB.
Yeah. Man, what are they called? I can't remember.
Yeah, some of the names are. I'm losing the names too.
Yeah, there's a million. I mean, it's just, and they're still making them, which is just crazy.
I love them.
Oh yeah, but lately I've been doing the Jordan 1 zips. Those have just been my like go-to. I don't know if you've seen those at all.
Jordan, I don't know about the zips part.
Yeah,
I know Jordan 1s, the high top ones.
Yeah, which they're basically SBs, but they just have a zip up, so they're like my just step into when I'm running to take out.
You like have a zip on the side or something?
Yeah, just up the front.
Up the front?
Yeah.
Oh, that's dope. Why haven't I seen that?
And I've only ever seen like 2 other people wearing them like in the real world, and I'm like, guys, come on. And the other problem is they only made like 2 pairs for guys, and then like a million, like 10, 12 pairs for women. And the problem is I'm like a 10 and a half. So like the women's ones, the women's are the same, right? But the 12s is a 10 in women or in guys. So like I can't quite wear the women's ones. And no, it's a shame. And there's like some special, they're like super, they must have not made a bunch of them, but they have them in black with like the gum on the bottom, gum sole. Those are my next buy, I think. So
yeah, I love the gum sole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? You got a pair that you're like looking to get or anything?
I have a few pair that I bought that I'm like still holding on ice. Like they're on eBay, but they're just so juicy. I'm like, I want them, and I do wear them sometimes. And that is something nice about SBs. Even if you wear them, people will still buy them because they're like cars. You can sell a used car for still a lot.
Yeah, you can't quite put them on StockX, right?
No, you can't put them on StockX, which I haven't sold anything on StockX before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't, but I know some of these Jordan 1 Airs are going for like thousands of dollars.
It's insane. I mean, like the Air Yeezys, like when Kanye was with Nike before going to Adidas, like those brand new are worth like 10, 15 grand. It's ridiculous.
That's insane. Have you ever ventured with eBay? I love eBay.
Not really. I haven't really sold too much there. More just like if I'm selling things, it's usually just messaging and then through PayPal. So
but what do you put it on, or what platform do you just
lately it's been keyboard
Instagram
stuff that I'm buying or selling. So
is that through Reddit, or how do you communicate with you?
So that's the other part is like you can test your patience with like putting stuff together, and it's like really satisfying to like buy all this stuff from actual companies that are like making the thing. But if you just go to like reddit.com/r/mech market, like MECK market, it's just like a message board of just like people selling stuff, and there's like timestamp. You have to post your timestamps and everything to prove you have it. There's like it's pretty regulated. So yeah, and then you can, if you don't want to wait like 6 months for something, you can always just pay a little bit of a premium. People are like, there's scalpers that are trying to sell stuff for like high prices, but you come across like people who just like want to get what they paid for it. So yeah. So if you're looking for a keyboard, man, there's some cool ones on there.
Yeah, I almost want to like see what's up with the eBay marketplace on the keyboards. I wonder what some of those custom designed keyboards are going for on there.
I don't even know. I'm sure there are some, because I think I did randomly check there once, but the biggest marketplace where it's like probably a couple hundred posts a day is that Mech Market one. That's like the main concentration of where sales go on.
That's where they all hide out to, or that's like the community of keyboards.
The other one is geekhack.org, I want to say. That has a lot more. It's more like a forum for all kinds of stuff, but there's some sales. That used to be like the main place, but then it sort of switched over to
I see.
the Mac market.
Uh-huh. Sick, dude. Well, we got the inauguration today. What a freaking crazy time it's been already
Right?
the last few weeks. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's been wild. That's for
Yeah.
sure.
I don't even know like how to even describe what it's been like.
Oh man. I mean, I think for most people, the best day of last year was that Saturday when when the capstone came in. Like it was Tuesday, right? Everybody was waiting, Super Tuesday. And
Uh-huh.
we're like, that, those first couple days, it was a little tense, that's for
Mm-hmm.
sure. But then it
Mm-hmm.
sort of set in that it was like inevitable. And then that Saturday that the whole election got called, man,
Dude.
that was wild.
Insane. And the Capitol being stormed or whatever
Oh
you want to
man.
call it. And
Yeah, that was rough. I mean, that day was like I was working, so I was kind of paying attention, but like
mm-hmm.
I was working in a warehouse with like three other guys, and we were like all checking stuff the whole
Mm-hmm.
day, and just like, oh my god, what's going on? What the
Mm-hmm.
hell? Like, and then yeah, I mean, I kind of think like uh it's just like what kind of legacy is going to be there? Because I mean, I don't want to say too much or anything, obviously, but uh, I mean, I just really hope that Biden can step up. And it sounds like he has a ton of executive orders that he's gonna put in the next couple days, and really, hopefully, can help the people that really need it. Because the fact that no one has gotten any support or a little support
Mm-hmm.
um, is just insane. Like I feel pretty lucky that my work kind of picked back up in June or July. So I was able to work in a safe place. We're in a decently sized studio. We were capped at like 12 people allowed in there at a time. Everybody obviously was wearing masks and following all kinds of procedures and everything. But I can't imagine like people who couldn't work and their unemployment runs out. And I mean, what are you supposed to do there? So I mean, it's a special case where I think the government has to step in and help people, and they just didn't. So,
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
with you there. I think that a lot of people need a little bit more financial help, and those relief funds were, cool, but it doesn't seem to be efficient enough for the amount of support people need, especially when you look at other countries and how much,
yeah.
relief they've gotten.
I mean, it's just I think most European countries, everybody got like 2 grand a month or something. Like
Yeah,
that
which is like
that's how you
actually
help
enough
your
to
citizens.
survive.
Yeah. I don't know. But
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of hope and optimism, and I'm gonna be thinking positive, and
mhm.
hopefully, just things will become a little bit more light than they have been the last few days and whatnot.
Yeah. Sure.
It's weird. It's weird not knowing if we're being misinformed or if we're like reading something that's true. It's just kind of like upsetting, confusing, just
Oh
head
yeah.
scratching. Like, is what I'm seeing true? I mean, I feel like that's going in my head like the majority of the time when I'm watching
Mhm.
something, whether it's, I
Yeah.
mean, whatever source it is. Like, I'm just like, wow. Like, I mean, I believe it in the time, but after I watch the video, I'm like, dang, I don't know if what I'm watching is true, and that's just a
Well,
weird feeling, not
It
knowing.
it really is. I actually I learned about this like maybe a year or two ago. There used to be like a government agency that was like uh, the body for science research, and it read every single like peer-reviewed article that came out, like thousands and thousands of articles a year, and it made available to every person who worked for the government like any research article that they wanted. So like they provided basically the entire government with scientific research, and that just got shut down in like 1995. And then it's been a slow progression and a slow moving away from like a like whole body of facts that we work with, and it's just all sort of dissipated to echo chambers where you know you're only going to really pay attention to the stuff that you agree with, and that's on both sides, unfortunately.
Hmm.
um, so yeah, that's I think really unfortunate. I don't know why we don't have an agency like that again. That seems like
Hmm.
that would really sort of help things. It might take a while, but that would really sort of help things, I think. So
yeah, I see what you mean. Like everybody on the right is getting information when they type in Google. If they type in something and I type in something,
yeah.
because I'm more left, like our our
What was
Google
that
searches are going to be different.
do you see that documentary? I can't remember what it was. There's a documentary about that, how the same person or two different people can Google the same thing and get different results based on our profile that has like thousands and thousands of different like characteristics about us that
Mm-hmm.
goes into every sort of search that we make.
The social dilemma.
Yeah, I think that was it. Yeah.
Ah, dude, that freaking tripped me out. I like turned off all my notifications on Instagram. I mean, I feel the addiction of Instagram
Hmm.
daily. Even when I'm watching it, I'm like, okay, 5 minutes have gone by, 10, 20, 30, and I'm just like, man, I should get off this. But something about that scrolling, I'm like, but what's next? Like,
Yeah,
oh,
right.
but what's, and then these videos are freaking clever when they're like, wait for the end. It's like, oh, now I have to wait for the end. And like, they're like all these tiny, tiny little tricks to get us to stay on there.
Yeah,
And even I'm aware and I'm, conscious, but still, I let 30 minutes go by
it's true.
just from going like this.
Hmm.
And yeah, you're right. There we have thousands of searches like a week, and each one of our like avatars or
Hmm.
um, ourselves have like the data from what we've searched, and then Google knows what we want to see, and
Yeah.
it's definitely trippy. But that documentary I think woke up a lot of people just to at least if we could be conscious about it and know a little bit, then maybe we can make more informed decisions.
Yeah, I really don't know what the solution is there. I mean, social media in general has sort of, well, one, it's like kind of destroyed news, right? Uh, Not just like made uh, the whole monetary aspect for newspapers go way down. People don't
Mm-hmm.
buy newspapers anymore, and no one
Mm-hmm.
wants to, you know, so much of like the articles that are the most well researched now and peer reviewed and the author took a year 2 years to write one article,
Mm-hmm.
those are behind paywalls and no one's going to want to pay for that when you can get your news for free from someone else. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also like a big issue. And then yeah, just being able to type something out on your phone and potentially have like millions of people see it, like that whole concept like really affects what you write, like, and
Mm-hmm.
the stuff that people pay attention to is the stuff that is the most inflammatory, and people are trying to get clicks, which is,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, makes me nervous. I think we're like already well down the slippery slope, and I don't really see how we reverse it or really where it's headed, because like how do you predict this kind of stuff? So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Someone who I like and follow on social media is like said a few predictions of just like we're gonna transition to more like audio interfaces,
Really.
in like a voice and or not audio, yeah, voice recognition and voice things. Right now we're doing a lot of visual, but
Mm,
he predicts that in 5+ years that we're not going to even have the attention span or the time to be looking at a phone, so we're going to be talking to our data like like
oh yeah.
basically a Siri version 20, which
Mm,
we can be like, hey, can you send Bogey a DM that says like, hey, does 9 a.m. still work? And then I can just be hands free,
oh
so.
yeah.
And then advertisement and like those type of things are just going
Oh
to
my
change
God.
drastically if we go to this voice data type of thing versus like a visual
Mhm,
data, which is still hard to even conceptual. Like, but I think with everything having data, like there's
mhm.
data in our living room, our bedrooms, our cars. Now we can talk to. Soon enough, our clothes I think are going to have data, and we'll be able to like talk to our clothes,
Oh yeah.
or shoes. Or it sounds maybe bizarre, but that's one theory I've heard.
Oh yeah. No, actually, so when I was in the Bay, I worked for this company called the Noise Studios, and they're like a production company. They did a ton of like just miscellaneous videos. So we did like a lot of like weddings, and I was just a video editor there. I'd come in 9 to 5 and edit for them. Um, and we did a lot of like conferences and stuff. And there was this one conference that was like future technology, like future of communications and stuff. And one thing is like we have 5G way behind every other country, which is kind of bizarre to me. And then two, the whole do you know about IoT? Have you heard of that term? It's going to be a term that people will know a good bit more. It's things sending signals that trigger other things through a program. And there's programs now where you're like, okay, like I was talking with the Arduino thing, if the door opens, send an alert to my phone saying door open. And you can create these whole like chains of programs talking to each other. And so basically that's what our phones are doing and what all of our technology is doing, smart fridges, smart, whatever, smart everything now. They're all talking to each other and relaying information, which boosts efficiency, but also is kind of scary and sort of, I think, heading in a dystopian direction. But at the same time, I remember there was something about freight, like UPS or some sort of freight company, and them just being able to know where every single one of their trucks is and the speed it's going and where it's headed and all that information. It does amazing things for their efficiency. So these companies, of course, are going to be pushing to get more data from their products. So it's kind of a rubber meets the road situation, but I don't know where it's headed.
Wow. Yeah, the future. I mean, I honestly haven't watched a lot of Black Mirror, only like a couple episodes, but I do remember that Smart House Disney movie. I think it was.
I remember that one too, yeah.
I don't know exactly how it ended, but why am I like envisioning the house like attacking the family or like?
I think it does. I remember like the kid touches the doorknob and it zaps him.
That's yeah.
I feel
like the vacuum cleaner, like the broom, like things are just like attacking and going crazy.
Oh no!
I can't really remember, but I'm just like trying to remember. I think we were like 10 years old or something.
Oh yeah, I for sure remember that one.
I mean, Smart House, iRobot. These things the technologies get so advanced that they're smarter than us, and then boom. But
yeah, it's
can't be scared. I'm not living in fear. It's just have knowledge.
Right. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, we're about approaching an hour. Oh yeah, we just hit an hour. Maybe we should go tune into the inauguration or watch something today.
Oh yeah, good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great day, man. I really think
it is.
This is the start of something great. So
I hope so too. Well, it's so good talking to you, bro, and catching up. It's been years, so it's nice to chat with you. And if you ever start a podcast, just know that I'll be right there and I'll be your guest. Yeah. Well, tell the family hi. Oh yeah, I remember. I think about your dad sometime, and I'll always remember he was like the coolest substitute. Talking about his times being a bomb like detonator.
Yeah,
when he was in the forces, and that story is stuck with me. Like the way he told it, and I was like a freshman in high school, just like, what? Like you detonate bombs underwater, like not in land, like in freaking sky, like scuba diving. So
yeah, it's wild.
I don't know if he ever tells you stories about that, but that blew my mind, and still I think it's fascinating.
Oh yeah.
So make sure to tell Matt hi for me.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on. This is great.
Yeah, this is cool. Well, this is like my 8th podcast or something, so might have you on. I want to maybe have some of the people I've had on before for like an episode 2 or something. So you might hear from me in the next few weeks.
Sweet, man. Sounds good.
Yeah, dude. Take it easy, brother. Have a good day.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah. Peace. Wow, you listened to the whole podcast. I appreciate you. And one more thing you could do to appreciate me is to click that subscribe button or follow me, like me, do all the things you got to do to support me because I support y'all. And let's do more podcasts. Help me grow. Thank you.